Wouldn't have any regrets walking away.
You look great with a cowboy star on your helmet. Got any news you want to share with us?
Not going to San Fran.
Aaron, hey, I heard Davante is looking for a neighbor, bro.
Tell him to buy me a house. Got all that money now.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little nervous to bring you guys this update today, primarily because my entire Instagram comment section is filled with people roasting me for predicting that Aaron Rodgers was gonna go to the Denver Broncos last year, and ultimately he returned to the Green Bay Packers. So if you want to go into my Instagram and defend me in these comment section wars, that'd be appreciated. With that aside, I figured I'd give you guys a disclaimer. I am bringing you guys a compilation of a bunch of information that I'm seeing out there, packaging it into a video, and then I'm gonna give you my opinion on it as we're going about it. You could disagree with me, it's okay, but historically Aaron Rodgers has taken me for one hell of a roller coaster ride. So before we get to the content, make sure you drop a like, subscribe, and turn on our notifications to help the channel grow. We're currently on a mission to pass my first channel, The Flight Mike, in subscribers, and I believe we're about 10,000 subscribers away. Now that we get all that out of the way, work! Usually when this happens, we all make bank. PrizePicks is hooking us up for the Super Bowl with a free square from Patrick Mahomes, which means Mahomes just needs one passing yard in order for his square to convert. So all you have to do if you want to join is go to the link in the description down below, download PrizePicks, and use my promo code Mikerophone so they can match up to $100 of your deposit. And once you're done with that, make these picks. Obviously, you should go with the Patrick Mahomes 0.5 passing yards and click more. Once you're done with that, one of my sleepers is going to be Kenneth Gainwell, who has been a monster throughout the playoffs for the Philadelphia Eagles, and he just needs to get higher than 21.5 rush yards. So we're going to click more there, and if Kenneth Gainwell gets more than 21.5 rush yards, you could 3x your money. Now, if you feel really good about this, you could also add Travis Kelce scoring 1 touchdown, and if both of these hit, you 5x your money. I play PrizePicks each and every day, and I post my picks to my story on Instagram. So make sure you're following me there if you want to see my picks on a daily basis. And thank you, PrizePicks, for the sponsor. Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? 2 years ago, the Los Angeles Rams made a move that would result in them eventually winning a Super Bowl. They would trade their existing franchise cornerstone, Jared Goff, and multiple first-round picks to the Detroit Lions for Matthew Stafford. The reason why this is significant is this occurred during the window of the conclusion of the AFC and NFC championship games and the Super Bowl. And although last year I don't believe we got anything notable, I feel like this year we're going to be placed in a similar situation. Each and every morning when I wake up, I feel like it's only a matter of time before we see a huge move get made in the NFL. And although you could already make the argument that such a move has been made, the Denver Broncos trading for Sean Payton, I feel like a quarterback is about to get traded, and it's going to be a gigantic domino effect in the NFL. The other day, we also discussed the fact that Tom Brady has officially retired, which means the best quarterback on the market that could be had for a price would probably be Aaron Rodgers at this point, with the consolation prize potentially being Derek Carr, but Derek Carr's situation's a little bit more complicated. I mean, it's gotten really complicated. As a matter of fact, the part of me is wondering what the Las Vegas Raiders are going to do now, considering the fact that they benched Derek Carr for the final 2 weeks of the season, are currently actively, at least it's known, they're trying to shop Derek Carr after Jarrett Stidham had one good week and one bad week, and they have until February 15th to cut Derek Carr. Otherwise, the $32.9 million base salary for next year and the $7.5 million for 2024 money will become fully guaranteed. You know what's crazy about this? We're going to be discussing 2 QBs ad nauseum here, one being Aaron Rodgers and one being Derek Carr. Out of these two, it's Derek Carr that has the authority to veto a trade anywhere he wants to. Theoretically speaking, Derek Carr could veto a trade anywhere else and sit his on the Raiders bench if he wanted to and collect his dough. Although that's not going to happen because the Raiders would probably cut him at that point, but that's besides the point. The Las Vegas Raiders are currently in a tough situation because everyone thought that their top candidate going into free agency was going to be Tom Brady. Obviously, a wrench was thrown in those plans once Tom Brady announced his retirement, which leads many of us to believe what is going to happen next for the Raiders. It seems like the Raiders and the Jets are in an arms race for Aaron Rodgers. But you might be thinking,
Mike, you always say Aaron Rodgers is about to get traded. How do we know this offseason is going to be different?
well, of course, let's give you a disclaimer first. Ian Rappaport said this on Pat McAfee's show the other day about whether or not Aaron Rodgers could get traded or if he's going to return to Green Bay.
If Rodgers wants to be back in Green Bay, I think there's a very good chance that he's back in Green Bay. That is my guess.
Now, I think this year is a little bit different than any other year for Aaron Rodgers. I mean, I know last year I said that he's going to be a free agent and he could just pick whatever team he wanted to go to. And the year before, he seemed to have really been applying pressure to the Green Bay Packers front office because he hated the fact that he wasn't a part of the personnel decisions. I think the year before was probably the most toxic and tumultuous. But this offseason's a little bit different. In previous videos, we discussed the fact that Jordan Love may potentially ask for a trade if he doesn't start for the Green Bay Packers, which I'm gonna admit, a part of me is a little skeptical about hearing that report. I don't really think Jordan Love would want to get traded from the situation he's in because he's placed in a remarkable situation to either be the face of the Packers moving forward or make a decent amount of money if he does blow up next year. And the likelihood of Jordan Love blowing up in a one-year trial and then getting the bag before his second full year under center is pretty high when you consider the fact that typically in a quarterback's first year, especially if they're very well prepared, they have significantly more success than their second year. That's why they call it the sophomore slump. The theory being that once there's tape out about a specific player and you understand their tendencies a little bit more, it becomes easier to play them. This applies to everyone but Patrick Mahomes, obviously. And then eventually it takes time for that quarterback to evolve his game a little bit more. And once he does, you'll truly find out if he is worthy of being your franchise QB. In Jordan Love's case, he has the opportunity, if he has to sit behind Aaron Rodgers for one more year, to take over for the Green Bay Packers after this season, play one full season under center, have a remarkable season under center, and then get paid a gigantic bag based off of that one season, or get the franchise tag, which means you'll get paid within the top quarterbacks in the league, which is still life-changing money. I mean, that's generational wealth right there. You only need one franchise tag as a quarterback to set your bloodline up for life if you look into it. But according to Albert Breer, the Packers believe that Jordan Love has made real progress this year, and the organization feels a lot better about him today than they did last season. There was genuine concern about Love heading into 2022, according to Albert Breer, but he developed since and showed progress. Jordan Love has been sitting behind Aaron Rodgers for 3 seasons. I feel like if there's any quarterback that is poised for a potential breakout the moment he starts, it's Jordan Love, considering the fact that he's been sitting in Matt LaFleur's scheme for 3 seasons behind a Hall of Fame quarterback with no real pressure on him to start immediately. I mean, you gotta think about it, man. 3 seasons to work on your mechanics, learn the playbook, watch how Aaron Rodgers prepares for games is absolutely game-changing for a QB. I don't think he's going to demand a trade, but I do think the Green Bay Packers feel some additional pressure to move on to Jordan Love because then you could take advantage of his rookie scale contract, potentially put a contender around him. And for the most part, that's the basis of what I believe is going to be an Aaron Rodgers trade. Now, I think either Aaron Rodgers or Derek Carr are going to get traded over the next 2 weeks, primarily because, of course, the Raiders have until the 15th to trade Derek Carr, but the problem is that I believe the New York Jets' top candidate would probably be Aaron Rodgers. But at the same time, it's not just the New York Jets that are trying to get Aaron Rodgers. So before we get to the other team that's trying to get Aaron Rodgers, let's start with the New York Jets. We covered the Jets ad nauseum in another video. There's a lot of links here. I mean, obviously you're going to draw the Brett Favre parallel when Brett Favre went to the New York Jets. But that aside, the owner of the Jets has said multiple times that he's willing to do whatever it takes to get a veteran QB on the New York Jets roster. This is because they've hit on multiple young picks in the NFL draft, so you would want to do your best to get the right man under center to potentially take this team to a Super Bowl, which I know it sounds crazy, but yes, the New York Jets are a quarterback away from greatness. When you look at their rushing attack, when you look at their offensive line, when they're healthy, when you look at their wide receiver core and their defense, this team is almost there. In order to do this, many think that they hired Nathaniel Hackett as the offensive coordinator, potentially lure over Aaron Rodgers. And in the past, I actually would agree with that, but it seems like Aaron Rodgers has an offensive coordinator that he's comfortable with in Green Bay as well. So I don't think that's going to necessarily lure him over to the Jets. But at the same time, Aaron Rodgers makes it sound like the Green Bay Packers are looking to move on from him.
I think so. I mean, it sounds like there's already conversations going on that aren't involving me, which are interesting.
Honestly, I've been insulated to a lot of that.
There's also a link between Aaron Rodgers and Zach Wilson. Aaron Rodgers has served as a mentor to Zach Wilson. According to Albert Breer, they've had phone calls in regards to Zach Wilson's development, and this has been verified by both Ian Rappaport on the Pat McAfee show.
You know who would know about Zach Wilson?
Who's that?
Is your friend Aaron Rodgers. Apparently they have a relationship.
If you guys don't know the story has something to do with Aaron Rodgers calling Zach Wilson on a Friday night of week 2 of the NFL season. And then Aaron Rodgers found out that Zach Wilson was looking at tape at a facility, and Aaron Rodgers would respond saying, dude, what are you doing? Pretty much a testament to how hard Zach Wilson works, I suppose. So the link is there, and Joe Douglas is on record to say that he will do anything to get Aaron Rodgers in a New York Jets uniform. But it seems like as a result of what happened with Tom Brady, Davante Adams is starting to sense some urgency in regards to making sure that he has someone credible throwing him passes next year. So Davante Adams first posted this onto his Instagram story. It could be nothing. I doubt it's nothing. It's Aaron Rodgers throwing a back shoulder fade to Davante Adams when they were on the Packers. But get this, it's not just Aaron Rodgers throwing a back shoulder fade to Davante Adams on the Packers. Davante Adams posted this in black and white, Las Vegas Raiders colors. Davante Adams also would go ahead and like this picture from Raiders report Mitchell Renz, saying if the Raiders trade for Aaron Rodgers, I'm going live for 12 straight hours on the Raiders report, liked by Davante Adams. At this point, you might be thinking,
Well, it's not a big deal, Mike. He just liked it.
at this point, football players know that fans of the game are going to go into their Twitter likes and see what they're liking. I mean, you've seen it multiple times, not just with Davante Adams, but whenever players are trying to be cryptic, they typically just go like things that they agree with. Finally, Davante Adams held a Q&A, and if this isn't being straight and direct, I don't know what is. A fan asks Davante, what neighborhood is Aaron Rodgers moving to? Davante Adams responds saying, mine. Okay, so I'm no genius or psychologist here, but a part of me feels like Davante Adams wants Aaron Rodgers on his team. So with that being said, what do I think's the most likely? This is something that I'm not sure if I could really predict, because I don't even think the Las Vegas Raiders could afford the cap hit that comes with Aaron Rodgers. There's obviously be some restructuring that needs to occur in order for Aaron Rodgers to go there. But also, it depends on what Aaron Rodgers is pursuing at this point. Does he want another Super Bowl? If he does, I don't think Las Vegas is the place to do it. Look, if I had to choose a team that I wanted Rodgers to go to, it would definitely be the Las Vegas Raiders. Are you kidding me? You get to watch Rodgers versus Mahomes twice a year, Rodgers versus Herbert twice a year, Rodgers versus Russell Wilson twice a year?
Broncos country. That's right.
I mean, who knows? The Broncos could be good by then. So I'm not just ruling out the Raiders just because I have some sort of secret agenda against the Raiders. I think it'd be very entertaining for sure. But just because the Raiders need a quarterback doesn't necessarily mean that Aaron Rodgers is going to go there. At the same time, the Raiders do have the 7th overall pick in the 2023 NFL draft. Maybe that's enough to entice the Green Bay Packers. I mean, that's a pretty valuable pick. But what I think is a little bit more likely to occur is Aaron Rodgers getting traded to the New York Jets. That team is fully loaded. They're filled with young talent. They do have the assets and the means to get him. And the owner's on record saying multiple times how thirsty he is for a veteran QB. It also is the thing that could save Zach Wilson at this point. I hate to admit it. A lot of people think that moving on to a veteran QB means that's it for Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson was drafted 2 years ago. He has 2 more years, pretty much, well, 3 more years if they want to accept his 5th-year option. Prove to the New York Jets that he could be a franchise caliber QB. I think bringing in Aaron Rodgers for 2 years and then his contract runs out and then potentially giving Zach Wilson one last chance could potentially save him. I do think you need to have Zach Wilson sit on the bench and work on his mechanics if he really wants to develop as a quarterback. But at the end of the day, either Derek Carr or Aaron Rodgers are about to get traded. I don't necessarily know if Derek Carr gets moved before Aaron Rodgers, because that would probably be the consolation prize. At the same time, I could imagine Derek Carr just getting cut straight up. So let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think about all this, man. I know it's a lot of information. I did my best to cover everything. Aside from that, I'm your boy Mike. I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.